That was old school Manchester City today. They were good, but just how good?
Well, the scoreline suggests very good. Wolves are aside, much to some of our conversation earlier today, that some have pegged to go down, given some of their departures. So you want to take the performance maybe with a little pinch of salt. That being said, as we said earlier, all you can do is beat what's in front of you, and Manchester City certainly did that. At times, you wonder if this is the kind of fixture that maybe they would have struggled in last season, but no real signs of that. Well, no real signs of that once City took the lead. Wolves did have a couple of opportunities early on, one ruled out rightly for offside. But once City kind of survived that, um, and they got the opening goal, they were just in total control, and the result never really looked in any doubt.
So the first half hour was interesting because Wolves' game plan was basically to go at them,
Yeah.
to try and hit on the counter when they got the ball, but to be physical and not to be frightened of them. And I thought it worked for a spell. They just couldn't find a way past James Trafford, and there was nothing at that stage in the first half hour before City got the opening goal to suggest this would be as one-sided as it turned out.
No, it wasn't. And to to Manchester City's credit, having the likes of Stones back in the starting lineup now, if he can stay fit for all of, if not the majority of this season, I think is a huge boost to them defensively. They weren't what we've come to expect from City last season. I think Stones plays a part in that, not only just how they look defensively, but how Pep Guardiola can change things in moving Stones into midfield, etc. A lot of Manchester City's attacking threat came on the left hand side, but with Jeremy Doku, who was direct, but at times I thought maybe lacked a little bit of quality just in the final ball. And again, it is the first game of the season. Maybe it's just teams kind of trying to get back to speed, and in City's case, kind of give them the stop-start summer of the Club World Cup. But then once City got that deadlock, once City broke the deadlock, it never looked in any doubt. And Reinders certainly was the man who was grabbing and will grab the headlines following this one.
Anybody that watches Serie A will know his quality. For those that
Hmm.
didn't and haven't seen too much of him, I'm trying to think if he's more I think he's more an Ilkay Gundogan in his first spell at Manchester City
Hmm.
rather than a Kevin De Bruyne, because he can play 6, he can play 8, he can play 10. He's probably not as creative as De Bruyne, but for you, is he more of a kind of first term Gundogan for City?
I think it's always dangerous for City, the case of De Bruyne, to draw any kind of comparisons. De Bruyne really
Exactly.
was almost a law unto himself, if I can say that. Reinders certainly does have more of the Gundogan look. You saw that in the way he took his goal. You saw that in the creative ball to unlock the Wolves' defense for the first goal. I think he just shows so much both sides of the ball, of his ability. So I totally understand the comparison. I understand the excitement around Reinders early on what we saw today. But again, if you give me a choice between De Bruyne and Gundogan, I'm always going to say Gundogan, because I'm not sure that the Premier League has seen a better passer, a better assister, is that a word, than Kevin De Bruyne.
Erling Haaland. Look, teams have off seasons. Man City did
Hmm.
last season. Erling Haaland was still their top scorer. He just needs a bit better service because he knows where the back of the net is. And I think that's 7 goals now he's got on the opening day for Man City in the 4 games that he's played. Do you expect a similar season to the one from 2 seasons ago where he's practically unstoppable? Or do you think it might be more like last season where he's still going to get lots of goals, but teams might double team him, for example, which ultimately is just going to mean someone else is going to get space and freedom?
Here's the issue with double teaming Erling Haaland. When he isn't on the end of crosses, he's not offering an awful lot. He's not chasing back. He's not defending. He's not part of the build-up play. So you double team him at your peril, because he doesn't give anything else at the other side of the ball. So therefore, inevitably, you just have one centre half who's kind of there because everybody else is kind of worried about everybody else, and he just finds space and finds the back of the net, as he did with this one in the opening goal against Wolves. So it's always difficult to try to figure out how to play up against Erling Haaland, unless you have somebody who can match him physically, who and let's be honest, his movement in the box as a goal scorer is almost second to none, which is why he finds space. And then he is a good finisher. As I mentioned, maybe he doesn't offer much more than that. That's a conversation maybe for a different day up against a different opponent. So it's always difficult. And then the question then becomes, well, how do you stop that supply, or how you make that supply as predictable as you can, so that you give defenders a chance when you're battling up against Erling Haaland one-on-one, with the likes of Reinders in this form, Silva. It's tough to keep City as predictable, and that for me will be everybody's challenge this season.
But the squad that they have, I mean, today they had no Gvardiol, so I mean, it was Ruben Dias and it was John Stones. Phil Foden and Rodri were watching from the stands. Nico Gonzalez started. Then they bring on Omar Marmoush, and then Cherki comes on, and he gets a goal. Is this something? Oh, by the way, I wanted to ask you about James Trafford as well, because he started in goal, and there's talk that Ederson is probably going to move to Galatasaray. So there's another new face that's come in, even though he's been there before. And I thought his performance was good, because for the first half hour he was pretty busy, up until Wolves did the old "everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face" Mike Tyson line. But there wasn't a failure today for Man City, was there?
No, there wasn't. And I guess it's easy for me to start with Trafford. I thought he cooked himself wonderfully well. And you're right, there's a lot of speculation around Edison, and then speculation around Gianluigi Buffon to come in. Buffon. Donnarumma.
Wow.
Be something for
Buffon's late 40s now.
There'd be something for Buffon to come in. Donnarumma to come in. We've been speaking about that all week, and I'll say here today, as I've been saying all week, Donnarumma to City doesn't make an awful lot of sense to me, simply because Donnarumma is not good with his feet, which is why Luis Enrique got or is willing to part ways with him. That and the amount of money he's demanding, and so to put into a Pep Guardiola team makes no sense to me. And then you look at, I think it was City's third goal, the role that Trafford played. Little ball into midfield into Reinders. Great little ball into midfield and Reinders. City turn and within 2, maybe 3 passes, the ball's in the back of the net to effectively kill the game as a contest. That's Trafford doing what Pep Guardiola wants his goalkeepers to do, in a way that I'm not sure that well, either Buffon or Donnarumma can. So that's a question there. And then to your point about the other players that come off the bench, Cherki, I think, has the potential to be the exciting prospect of the Premier League. That he is that good a talent. And I know he came off the bench today, but if he finds his stride and finds his creative spark, as he did in France, who knows what's this young man's ceiling. We saw a lot of Marmoush last season, how direct, how impactful he is. And then the others who Pep Guardiola will be able to call on during the course of the season just makes this arguably the best squad in the Premier League. And as much praise as I've heaped on City there, I'll also add, I still don't have them as favourites to win the league. So it kind of speaks to how good the league promises to be this term.
Is this the moment that changes everything for our starting rotation? Could the return of our Rookie of the Year winner be the missing piece to our championship puzzle? We've just witnessed Luis Gil deliver his most dominant performance since returning from that devastating lat strain that crushed our spring training dreams. The baseball gods seem determined to test our pitching depth, with Cole and Schmidt both going under the knife. But what if I told you that Gil's latest outing against the Cardinals revealed something shocking about his October readiness? The advanced metrics and clutch gene analysis I'm about to break down suggest he might possess that rare comeback chromosome that separates good pitchers from postseason legends. I'm about to reveal the mind-blowing details that most Yankees analysts are completely missing about this potential rotation game changer. What's up, Yankees universe? Pinstripe power coming in hot with another deep dive for all you baseball junkies out there. Hope you're all crushing it today, rocking that navy and white, and ready to get your Yankees analysis fix. How exactly does Luis Gil's resurrection fit into the championship blueprint that Cashman and the front office have been quietly assembling while everyone else panics about our rotation depth? Drop your predictions down in the comments right now, because I've been studying the numbers and connecting dots that nobody is talking about yet. Seriously, stick around until the end, because I'm about to break down a comeback formula that will absolutely blow your mind about how Gil's transformation could save our entire October destiny. Let me paint you the real picture of what we just witnessed in that 4-3 victory over St. Louis. Luis Gil didn't just throw strikes. He delivered a masterclass in pitcher evolution that should have every Yankees fan absolutely buzzing with excitement. In 5.1 innings of pure artistry, Gil carved up the Cardinals with 4 strikeouts, managed 3 walks, allowed 4 hits, and surrendered just 1 run. But here's what the surface numbers don't tell you. This performance represents the exact kind of controlled aggression that made him our AL Rookie of the Year sensation. Think about the mental fortress this kid had to build. March rolled around, spring training was in full swing, and bam! That right lat strain sent him straight to the 60-day injured list, faster than you could say championship aspirations. For a 27-year-old pitcher who had just tasted rookie glory, that kind of setback could break lesser athletes. But Gil, this man came back swinging with the kind of determination that legends are made of. What do you think separates good pitchers from great ones when they're coming back from injury? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because the answer might surprise you. Now, let's talk about that ERA journey, because it tells a story that every Yankees fan needs to understand. Gil's sitting at 5.14 with a 1.64 whip after this latest gem, and I know some of you are looking at those numbers thinking they're not spectacular yet. But here's the thing, context is everything in baseball, and the context here is absolutely electric. Remember his disaster debut against Miami back on August 3rd? 5 hits, 5 earned runs in less than 4 innings. ERA ballooning to 13.50 with a whip that made us all want to hide under our fitted caps. That wasn't the real Luis Gil. That was a warrior testing his rebuilt lat muscle against major league hitting for the first time in months. The expectations were impossible, but Gil treated it like the learning experience it was meant to be. If you're loving this breakdown, smash that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because we're just getting warmed up with the Yankees coverage. The August 9th start against Houston showed us the first glimpse of Gil's resurrection. 5 1/3 innings, ERA down to 7.27, whip improving to 1. 85, the numbers were still rough around the edges, but the foundation was clearly being rebuilt brick by brick. You could see the confidence creeping back into his delivery, the command starting to sharpen, and most importantly, that competitive fire beginning to burn bright again. But this Cardinals performance? This was Gil announcing to the entire baseball world that he's officially back and ready to carry this rotation on his shoulders when it matters most. The progression from that horrific Miami outing to this controlled dominance against St. Louis represents exactly the kind of pitcher development curve that championship teams dream about having in their back pocket. Here's where this gets absolutely insane for our playoff chances. Gil's return couldn't have come at a more crucial moment in Yankees history. Both Garrett Cole and Clark Schmidt are done for the season after undergoing Tommy John surgery, leaving massive holes in our starting rotation that could have derailed our entire championship chase. Cole's been out since March and won't return until the 2026 regular season starts, while Schmidt won't be back until mid-season next year. Do you realize what this means for Gil's importance to our October destiny? Let me know in the comments if you're starting to connect these championship dots. Without Gil finding his groove, we'd be looking at a rotation crisis that could torpedo our entire postseason run. But instead of panicking, Cashman and the front office can now breathe easier, knowing that their Rookie of the Year winner is showing all the signs of recapturing that dominant form that made him such a revelation last season. Remember, this is a rotation that has been absolutely devastated by injuries. Both Cole and Schmidt underwent Tommy John surgeries this year, leaving massive holes that could have derailed our championship aspirations. The timing couldn't be more perfect either, because we've got Ryan Yarbrough and Fernando Cruz both starting their AAA rehab assignments this week. Picture this: Gil anchoring the rotation with his renewed confidence, while our bullpen gets reinforced with 2 more quality arms. That's the kind of pitching depth that can carry a team through the grueling postseason grind. And speaking of grueling, let's talk about what's waiting for us as this regular season winds down. Multiple series against the Boston Red Sox and Toronto Blue Jays, with the Blue Jays currently holding the lead in the AL East standings. These aren't going to be friendly neighborhood games. These are going to be battles that test every ounce of mental toughness and physical preparation our guys have been building all season long. What's your prediction for how Gil performs in these crucial divisional matchups? Drop your bold takes in the comments. This is where Gil's comeback story becomes absolutely legendary material. Imagine him taking the mound against Boston, crowd on their feet, postseason implications hanging in the balance, and delivering the kind of dominant performance that silences Fenway Park. Or picture him carving up Toronto's lineup while their fans watch their division lead slip away 1 strikeout at a time. The mental aspect of Gil's return might be even more impressive than the physical recovery. Coming back from a lat strain isn't just about healing muscle fiber. It's about rebuilding confidence in your delivery, trusting your stuff against major league hitters, and rediscovering that competitive edge that made you special in the first place. Gil has checked every single box in that mental reconstruction process. Before we wrap this up, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on, because we're going to be tracking Gil's every start as we head into the most important stretch of our season. What we're witnessing with Luis Gil isn't just a simple return from injury. This is a complete transformation that could define our entire championship chase. From that devastating spring training setback to becoming a potential October hero, Gil's journey represents everything beautiful about baseball's capacity for redemption and second chances. The Yankees universe should be absolutely ecstatic about what this means for our rotation stability and playoff confidence. With Gil showing signs of his Rookie of the Year dominance, our bullpen getting reinforced, and the team fighting for every win in these crucial division battles, we're setting up for exactly the kind of dramatic finish that championship seasons are built on. Yankees Nation, this Luis Gil comeback story is just getting started, and I can't wait to break down every dominant start, every clutch strikeout, and every step closer to October glory. Make sure you're part of this incredible journey by smashing that subscribe button, hitting the notification bell, and dropping your Gil predictions in the comments below. Until next time, this is Pinstripe Power reminding you to keep that championship faith burning bright, because something special is brewing in the Bronx.